Oi, 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 oi. Good morning, good morning. Time to play some video games. I have not played WoW properly. In a while. Crocodile. I almost can't remember how this works. Right, good morning, boys and girls. Hope we're all well. I'm going to jump in and check some Patreon orders, get some profession stuff done, because got to keep that gold flowing. Oh, how we doing, Pack B? Good morning. Oh my god, that coffee's hot. Literally nearly died. Woof. It's alive. I'm an it now. I feel like an it. It's hot in here. To be fair, I've just jumped out the shower, which is why I'm overly hot. But how are we all doing? How are we all doing, boys and girls? There's it's been a while. I tell you what, I take a few days off and it genuinely feels like I've left the game for months. The speed in which stuff happens in this game now is actually unreal. Where do we even start? Genuinely, where do we even start? Got to keep up with those patron orders. Let's get this on the go. Have we had a PTR build recently? I'm just trying to think now. We're probably, what, a month out? We're a month out, 5 weeks out maybe from the 12.1 patch. It can't be that far away, can it? In the grand scheme of things. It must be soon. It's not very many work orders. So yeah, I've been my schedule at the moment is kind of a little bit all over the place. I was away for a few days. We went to Tallinn in Estonia for a couple of nights last week. Thursday night, Friday night. Sorry, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Which was very nice. That was very nice. It was nice to have a bit of a change of routine for a couple of days. To be fair, too much food, too much drink, kind of means that the refreshment nature of going away for a few days weren't particularly high, but it was very fun all the same. Very, very fun. We're back though now. The wife's on holiday. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but when your partner is on vacation, surprise, surprise, out of absolutely nowhere, lots of stuff needs to be done. It's incredible how much stuff all of a sudden needs to be done when your partner's on vacation. So that's me being my first point of call for the last few days. Why have I got like no patron orders? I feel I should have more than this. I spent most of... Well, yesterday was an absolute write-off. I've got to admit, I have to take some of the blame for this. Yesterday was an absolute write-off because I didn't go to bed till 7 AM. Which is ever so slightly my own fault. Or should I say it's the England football team's fault. But there was a very late all-nighter that might have happened. So yesterday was an absolute write-off. I got basically nothing done yesterday. I slept until about 2 p.m, which made me feel like a teenager again. Got up, was drinking my morning coffee at like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which was equally weird. But yeah, that kind of screwed all of my day. Completely broke my brain. I shouldn't be doing that sort of stuff. This is why I don't do those big 12-hour, 14-hour, 24-hour streams, because too old for that business these days. So that kind of broke yesterday. So today feels like Monday, even though it's not Monday. Monday kind of disappeared. So I can't necessarily say I'm completely blame-free. But got a few hours today to have a poke around WoW. Have a bit of a chill session with you guys. Try and catch up with what's going on. That's the plan. Oh, are these bonus knowledge points? Oh, hello. Cheeky knowledge points lurking. Right, what have we been doing with these professions? We got alchemy, we got some points to go into. We're done on the flasks tree, because there's absolutely 0 point me putting any points into ingenuity, because nobody cares. Potion tree. I've unlocked both of them. I guess I just need to choose one and get better at the one. Points in multi-craft is probably more important. Yet that said, unless I'm mass crafting them, points in multi-craft don't matter because they just go to patrons. But I guess it is the play at least. Maybe skill. I can't honestly believe that due to the fact that I don't see any value in mass crafting, that actually stacking skill might be a easier play here? I'm not even sure. I don't know. We've only got 4 knowledge points. Who cares? That's an easy one because we're just filling that final node. Nearly filled the market mobility tree. Nearly full. BM Hunter, good morning. Chalida, welcome in. Chris, how we doing? It hasn't been 4 days since your last patrons, I guess. Yeah, Oileye, that's probably the case. I think I did my patron orders. I played an hour or two on over the weekend, so I probably did my patron orders then. I did have a lovely time, thank you. Yeah, it was heavily football, food, and drink fueled, so it wasn't too, you know, relaxing. I kind of stressed my body out even more than it would do normally, but, you know, a change of pace, a change of location. The hotel we stayed in was really nice, by proxy of the fact that it was brand new. It opened like less than a year ago, so rooms were still like good. Yeah, it was nice. Did a bit of an explore around the old part of Tallinn, went out for some food in the evening. Spent an ungodly amount of money, as you always do on vacation, which hurts my brain. But it was lovely. It was lovely. Some time away without the normal routine, right? Something as simple as not having to think about 3 dogs all hours of the day was greatly relaxing for my brain, at least. Proper reset then. I went for the opposite, just getting destroyed at a music festival. Well, yeah, I did a lot of eating and a lot of drinking over those couple of days away. So yeah, I kind of my body doesn't believe it was a proper reset or a rest, but from a routine perspective, it was different. It did not include getting up, walking dogs, making breakfast, you know, doing the usual. It was nice to have a change of pace for a couple of days, which was good, very good. This dude, I don't think we need to spend much time on him at all. Sure. Oh my god, Dark Moon's up again. Dark Moon's up again. Do we do Dark Moon quickly? Or can I just not be bothered? I tell you what, both my Alchemist and my Engineer are doing really well with keeping up with the flickers, you know. I think more so than any of my other professions. Like, for this number to be only 2 digits is kind of surprising. Because I don't go and I don't do treasures on this character. don't do like I don't do treasures. I don't do the books each week because this is just stuff I can't be bothered to. I'm surprised how well we've done on the flicker orders. So I guess we're not tracking too badly on these professions then, if that's the case. Though it still doesn't feel like I've got any knowledge points for alchemy. 30, 50, 60, 70 points in this. Nothing in transmutes. 30, 60, 90, 130 points in flasks. And only 40 points in... It really doesn't feel like I've gained any knowledge points for alchemy. But whatever. We got... tools-wise, alchemy's finito. Complete. Never have to think about tools for alchemy ever again. 6. I've not got many fused vitalities on my ult, so what we've got is what we got. I guess the next ones start filtering into engineering. These are still rare tools. Guess that'll do. That'll do. Leave that dude there. We'll go do dun-duns whenever we reach like 6. This is the thing. You take a few days off this game and then your first day, quote-unquote, back playing this game, you just potter around and don't do anything. It's so easy to get distracted by the treadmill in this game. So easy. Jargist, how we doing? Hello, hello, hello. Good morning to you. I would say I hope people are enjoying the summer sun, but the weather's been a little bit wacky, hasn't it, recently? Still too hot? Bro, it's freezing here. I know, what's it doing? Like 14 degrees or something? I kind of feel stupid having the aircon on, but all of my electronic products still keep it nice and toasty in my studio. But yeah, outside it's grim. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I got family over this week who keep wanting to be doing things. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's great, but it's fucking horrible outside. I'd rather stay indoors, please. Higher 15's bloody freezing. I know. What's going on? Nordics have lost the plot. Somebody providing 143 gold commission to make a Pandarian fishing net, providing all the reagents. What an odd order to place. And what an odd commission to provide. How very strange. I mean, sure. The irony is it'll probably... Well, no, even for that amount, it's not even going to end up on the auction. Like, there's one odd... What an odd order. I don't have mats? How can I not have mats for tailoring stuff? What materials could I possibly be missing with tailoring? Hello? Makes no sense. Craft. What? What's going on here? Oh, is it because I haven't got the right tool equipped? Yeah, that's what it is. I want to equip the right tool. Not that I don't have the mats. Go. What else are we? Inscription. Yeah, it's turning out to be almost entirely pointless going anywhere near these, isn't it? Since, It's just the flicker orders today by the looks of things. Got to get that catch up somehow though, I suppose. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but have people been watching the football the last couple of days? What an absolutely tragically boring game last night, by the way. I'm talking about Spain, Portugal. A game that has all of the makings to be an absolute, you know, showcase of excellence was so dull. The entire game. Genuinely one of the most dull, boring games of football I've seen from two world-class teams, like, in years. It was worth watching CR7 cry again. Mr. K-Jack, how you doing? Welcome in, my man. Welcome in. Arguably his last ever World Cup game. There's no way he's coming back in 4 years. But now, even Ronaldo can't be playing for Portugal at the age of 45. He's got to be cooked now, right? He's got to be done. Take him out the oven. He is burnt to a crisp. I sat that well. My schedule, my brain was completely broken yesterday, but I sat down to watch the Spain game last night, and I thought this has got to be worth, you know, paying attention to. This has got to be an absolute banger of a game. Oh, so boring, deadly boring game. But then again, I don't necessarily need to be I don't need every game to be like the flipping England-Mexico game. I can't have many more of them. We're going to have another one of them on Saturday night. When Haaland makes us look stupid. You know, Portugal is co-hosting in 2030, so he'd be 45. I know. He's going to try and play, isn't he? He'll be in, you know, he'll be in the squad. But, you know, they'll wheel him on in his wheelchair in the 80th minute for him to just, like, you know, head one in. Like, you know he'll be in the squad. But it won't seem that valuable, I don't think, for him to be there. Surely not. Surely he'll take the hint that he's done, right? Surely he's got to take the hint now. And Saudi Arabia in 2034 when he'll be 49. Do we think he's just never going to go away? Is that what we're saying? It could be true. Oh, I got my multi-craft tailoring tool. Let's make sure these are both... Yep, there we go. How we doing, Mr. Norton? Welcome in. He could be the water boy for the hydration breaks. Yes. That would be quite funny. Player manager? Oh, Jesus. He could do. Modric's last World Cup too. He's 42 almost. There's some old boys now, isn't there? There's some old boys that are kicking about. Yeah. I mean, even Messi's knocking on. Playing in Saudi is like getting residency in Vegas. Just without the slots addiction. Yeah, you're probably right. Probably right. Right, what have we got going on here? I'm just trying to fill these trees out now. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with tailoring anymore. I need to go this route. What's that, like 50 points? Sunfire. I hate having these nodes, like, just missing 5 points in. Feels totally stupid. Even though the amount of actual gameplay I do on my mage is so limited, they are entirely pointless. But 10 points in here, and then it's just, I never have to think about it ever again. And then we've just got the home straight of unlocking all of the armor. What we've been doing with Inscription. Oh yeah, I'm in a bit of a sticky situation with Inscription as well. I also don't really know what I'm doing with it. From a profession that I had touted as being like one of the top tier goal making professions, I've violently underutilized Inscription. Even the verticality of setting up multiple scribes in order to do milling and ink crafting and intermediates and reagents, there just hasn't seemingly been the value in doing that. And so on this character at least, I chose to go the profession tool route, which clearly hasn't paid off either, really, but got my PC back. So far, no big issues. However, I get this mouse jutter or sluggishness that I can't seem to resolve. Maybe I just imagine it, but it's driving me crazy. Only appears in WoW. Ooh, that's odd. I wouldn't really know what to suggest, but when you get those like frame drops, it's usually because an add-on is doing something. In fact, I might know what it is. Check your TSM. Check that you don't have anything in your craft queue. Check there's nothing lurking in your craft queue within TSM, because that can cause that issue. I went gear crafting for Inscription and just skipped the rest. The moment the decks are getting more popular. The Dark Moon tree is an interesting one. I threw 20 points in here just to unlock the sigils. Not that I've chosen to get good at making any of them, but I've kind of had this weird feeling that the sigils might, I don't know. Another one of these. I've kind of stupidly just put points in all of the flipping trees and have not really localized or you know, specialized my expertise. I've kind of scuffed Inscription, to be honest, but at first glances this tree was far too big and far too cumbersome to put the amount of points into it that it needed to fill the whole thing, and so I didn't bother. But yeah, point reset next patch though. I might very well utilize that this expansion. A lot of my professions, I went the theory of I'll just do the profession gear crafting, which I can't argue, definitely made me, you know, a few million gold for sure. Mass crafting the profession gear, selling it across multiple realms, was definitely a profitable adventure, but not an adventure I think I'm going to keep up with, so it might be worth speccing out of it completely. And just hard speccing into anything that just sort of benefits patron orders, weirdly. As much as that sounds kind of crazy, but it's on these characters that I try to collect every recipe anyway and complete the trees, whether it's any good goal-making reason or not. Just more for completionism reasons than anything else. Bunch of treasures knocking about in my bags. No point to reset because we need less knowledge points this expansion for everything. Like, I have almost full knowledge points on all professions, even skipping some of the knowledge point weeklies. I mean, when it comes to like a min-max build, there is, it's a bit of an illusion. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another in terms of how many knowledge points you need. The significant difference is that everything feels like it needs less because there's only 2 ranks. You still needed 150 to 200 knowledge points in a lot of specs last expansion, but because you had that stepping stone of like you know, guaranteeing quality 2 and then working towards guaranteeing quality 3. You felt like there was more of a journey to go on. But the same 200-ish knowledge points basically gets you everything you need this time. We pay for the knowledge point reset? How much is it? No, it's just a freebie one-time thing, though. One-time thing. I mean, in the War Within, if you went blacksmithing, you were either armorsmithing or weaponsmithing for a full year. Now you can have both. I'd look at it. I'd look at it. The numbers aren't that much different. They're really not. Like, you might be talking the difference of like 20 or 30 knowledge points maybe, but there's not that much in it. We're at the blacksmithing table, so let's have a look at that. Yeah, the reset is just a one-time thing. Where's my... that one? Here, look. You just speak to Theramis. He's the spec reset dude. Just a one-time job, though. One-time deal. What do you think that the reduction of lumber required for deck or crafting will affect the market? Oh, wait. What? Reduction of lumber required for decor crafting. Well, this is clearly a change that has passed me by. What's this then? You gotta pretend I've not been here for a few days, because I actually haven't. Did this come in the last PTR build then? Have they actually have they been changing stuff? I think it's only midnight decor. The usual rule is simple. If it takes less materials, it will be cheaper, and if it's cheaper, you make less gold. Most people make profit on a percentage basis, and so the higher the base cost of production, the more profit you'll make. As pretty much everybody values profit based on a percentage. So, you know, 10% of 1,000 gold is only going to make you 100 gold, but 10% of 10,000 gold is all of a sudden going to make you 1,000 gold. This is why when you look at super duper mega realm flippers, they don't care about shit that costs 1,000 gold. They're looking at 10,000 gold plus items only, because pretty much all profit is calculated based on a percentage. So if less lumber equals less crafting cost equals cheaper price equals less profit. It's pretty simple. Other lumber you get is like 5 lumber nodes a minute. Midnight is like 3 nodes a minute. It makes sense to lower the amount of lumber. Midnight just has 3 or 4 times as many recipes though. When you look at how much lumber you need to craft like one of everything, most past expansions it's like 500 to 600 lumber maximum to craft one of everything, assuming you have all recipes. In Midnight though, it's like 1,400, 1,500 lumber to craft one of everything. But there's 3 times as many recipes. So, you know, in that regards, it's balanced. But for the collectors out there who want midnight lumber specifically, you do technically need to farm up about 3 times as much of it already. So maybe they were thinking that they want people to be self-sufficient more easily. But I will tell you that the new zone is an absolute forest. you'll be able to farm lumber in the new zone very quickly and very efficiently. It already looks like the absolute best zone to farm lumber in. Relatively flat, you can fly. Sure, there's going to be mobs there, but fucking everything is a tree. So for those who are focusing on the midnight lumber, get your guys some gear so that they can run around the new zone comfortably. Be my advice. What a big old stinky dollop of doo-doo. I'm actually not going to bother with either. Well, I mean, just do these anyway. Profit's profit. They're free. Not a single one gives me a knowledge point, though. Check what enchanting has. Enchanting sometimes turns up a few gems. One thing I did see is that TSM has sunset their API. I kind of knew it was coming, but it's I think it's going to be helpful for those of us that mess around in spreadsheets. It's significantly more useful for me as a creator, as then being able to share a spreadsheet becomes a lot more easier when people don't have to mess around with a TSM API key. More importantly, TSM has been pretty much limiting new TSM accounts from creating API keys for a long time already, which means you kind of needed a bit of an OG TSM account to have an API key in the first place. So them TSM getting rid of their API is I did not expect them to get rid of their API. I expected them to, well, before the expansion launch, I was chatting to Sapu and kind of poking him in the direction of making it easier to export TSM data from the game. Similar in vein to what you can do with Auctionator, for example. The fact that you can have an auctioning shopping list. Like, I can have a shopping list here that I search for shit, and then I can export results. It creates a comma-separated value list that you just paste into a sheet, right? This is the kind of I would like some sort of direct export from within the game for Trade School Master. I think it could be very useful, especially considering as an add-on. It just can do more. There's something of this nature I was sort of poking the TSM guys and suggesting would be valuable. They've gone the route of making the auction house info widely available. That's the route that they've chosen to go with to begin with. But in doing so, they've also done it. They've also seemingly are doing this in place of their API. But I think this is gonna help creators and players who want to pull in auction house values from Trade School Master. For example, you will be able to pull in I'm hoping a wide variety of price sources for different items. I've not looked at this in great detail yet, but we've got non-commodity items for that realm will update roughly once every 3 hours. Now, of course, non-commodity items, you don't need minute-by-minute updates. The only things that you really need... The only questionable thing here is going to be the commodities one. People already didn't really use TSM's market value, TSM's prices for commodities because it was hourly. If this is going to be every 3 hours, it's going to be even less attractive to people. Meaning I can't really see much value for this other than to track maybe trends over a 14-day period, maybe. It's going to be very hard to utilize this in an external spreadsheet when it's only every 3 hours. Even a scan in the game of an per hour was considered not updated enough for a lot of players. Let's look at you. If you're trying to mass craft something, Mr. Kachak was lurking in stream earlier. He might still be lurking. If you were using somebody like Kachak's spreadsheet to try and calculate mass crafting opportunities, even an hour-old data was often considered not updated enough. So people were scraping the live auction house and then exporting that. TSM making these prices available this way round is cool. I can't see every 3 hours being utilized much for anything outside of like past expansion materials. Past expansion commodities. This means you can make easy to calculate. You can make like calculators for the Vial of the Sands and this sort of stuff that update themselves automatically now, which is a little bit more easier to do. But it's very niche. This could be good for decor, actually. This could be good for decor, for calculating the cost of crafting the decor, or for spotting deals on materials that are used in making decor of potential flips. There's some viability here for sure. There's some usage here, definitely. Sales rates and volumes can be more useful than the values, I guess. That's true. What does it actually... Realms and commodities. Item IDs, pet species IDs. The name of it, the market value, the minimum buyout. DB recent, that's the important one for me on a lot of things. Historical, nobody cares, and when it was updated. And then you've got sale rate information, region sold per day, and sale average prices. This stuff's going to be really useful. This stuff's going to be really useful for pulling in. Yeah, this stuff starts to play more useful. I'll have a play with this. I'll have a little play with this. There's some interesting opportunities here. It's going to be difficult, I think. It's going to be difficult, I think, to do this for like trying to spot deals so much, because it looks like you're having to specify the realm you pull information off. Then again, maybe just a big spreadsheet. You can pull in all of the realm's info still. I don't know. Google Sheets automatically refreshes its import data cells roughly once an hour, because the files only change every few hours for both realm and commodity data, or even daily on the regional data. Pulling more often than that will just return the same values. So yeah, this is cool. The fact that Google Sheets can automatically pull in this data, and this is so much more easy to deal with than trying to fuck about with API keys in the spreadsheets. I really like this. I'm not going to take much credit for this, but I think I was a big advocate for poking TSM in the direction of doing something like this. I had a long discussion with Sapyu February-ish, before the expansion came out. And I was like, look, you need to make it easier to get values from TSM into spreadsheets. Because not everybody is an API wizard. So this is cool to see. We'll have a play with this. I might start putting something interesting together. This could be a bit of a geek out session, a side hustle. Just dumb stuff, right? For like calculating crafting costs of past expansion mounts, calculating whether you should be crafting the intermediates or not. All of this is much, much, much easier to do in a spreadsheet that just automatically updates itself, which is nice. Very cool. Very cool. You guys can have a look and a read through this yourselves, by the way. I'll link this in chat. Very cool. Yeah, like Mr. Kachak said, some info like the sale rate on stuff becomes quite useful information to have. Anyway, that was a squirrel. That was a squirrel. There's going to be lots of squirrels today because I'm not going to be able to keep on track for sure. I need to consider, do we need to do anything with the Void Assaults? It's literally Tuesday, isn't it? Fucking reset again is already tomorrow. I spent about an hour in the, what's it, Naigtal? How are we saying that place? On Saturday maybe? Sunday maybe?
Attention everyone. A cause for celebration.
Why the Christ am I here? Why the Christ am I here? Sure, we'll take it. I'm sure I'm here for a reason. I do still need to clear some storms out here. Which means I need to figure out which of the world quests qualifies as clearing a storm. That's one of the only real achievements I definitely need to do today. Where is it? Expansion features? Void Assault? Dissipate 5 storms. I've done 3. If I don't do this today, I have to wait another entire week to even get the chance to complete it. That said, I'm quite sure you can't complete the mini metas until the 3rd week of each zone anyway, because of these final quests. Because who doesn't love a bit of time gating? Oh, I've got another Omnium Folio upgrade to claim, surely. What's this one? Your core rune, void touched orbs in this case, deal additional damage or additional healing. Oh. So it's just a percentage damage buff on top of a percentage damage buff. Okay, sure. Time gating really tripped Blizzard up with the short story that they released. The story referenced a quest that was time gated until this week. Classic Blizzard. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go into Ranthius mode about time gating, but they really need to stop doing it. Like, for the long-term health of the game, they really, really need to stop doing it. But we won't go into too much deeper territory than that for now. Get stuff listed. But think of the short-term gains for the shareholders. Yeah, will somebody please think of the shareholders? Hasn't there been like a metric fuck ton of layoffs within Microsoft again? I haven't read anything concrete, but I saw a flipping YouTube short about it. The so-called Xbox reset. Is that what they're saying? Is that how they're selling it? Reorganization. Gaming industry is brutal for this, though. Absolutely brutal. This is because there is so... This is not me justifying the layoff of people so frivolously, but there are so many completely distinct and almost opposite roles in the gaming industry. You have heavy requirement for huge amounts of developers before a game is launched, and then after a game is launched, you basically have nothing for them to do unless they're working on another new game. Which does cause the industry to just look absolutely brutal. It's just the heartlessness of a lot of it that's hard to watch. Limiting the layers of managers to at most 5, which says a lot. 5 levels of management. Oh my god, flipping hell. 5 levels of management, Christ. You would think you were running a nuclear organization with 5 layers of management. That does seem like a bit too much, doesn't it? I've got a lot of unalloyed abundance, I didn't realise. I should probably use or spend or allocate some of this. Got 5 fused vitalities, enough for 10 or 11 more. I might not be that far off 20 fused vitalities on this dude. Total maximum 0 out of 8. Weekly maximum 8 out of 8. Does that mean I've done my dun-dun runs, or does that mean I haven't done my dun-dun runs? I don't know. I hate this dun-dun system so much. I've never understood it. Like, genuinely never understood. Kind of normal in the NHS. I mean, in the NHS I can understand it, because that genuinely is a company on a national level, right? You know, you've got... You know, let's say you've got a doctor's office. You have the manager of the doctor's office. You have the regional manager. You have the national like, you can see the reason on a, you know, for a national level company or organization. But for a company that makes a few games, like, does there really need to be... Some had 14 layers. Yeah, does there really need to be 14 layers of management? How was I awake before you started for a change and still ended up being an hour late? Oh, Ginny. Welcome in, though, by the way. Whoops. Don't worry, I've just been rambling for an hour. Pleased for Undead Labs, who got a new owner, and State of Decay 3 will see the light of day. Worry it would be cancelled when it was so close to release. I genuinely don't know what game that is. But anybody that gets to keep their job is a good day in the office. I sometimes stress a little bit more than I should do about playing a video game, mostly for a living. But there is also an element of me that then has to strongly remember that there is one humongous advantage of being your own boss, and that you basically can't fire yourself. There is an element of job security about what I do. Now, unless World of Warcraft magically goes poof overnight, I tend to, or I do something outrageous and get myself cancelled, I tend to think at least I might not have the same perks or privileges or make humongous amounts of money like some people can achieve by having standard jobs working for somebody else, but the job security of working for yourself, being your own boss, there's an element of comfort to that, which I need to remind myself of sometimes. You could just cancel yourself. Well, yeah, if I do something astronomically stupid, yeah. I don't plan to, though. Easier yearly performance reviews as well. That's it, yeah. I mean, my Christmas party's not exactly that exciting. Me, myself, and I, but other than that, it's not bad. Undead Labs was under Microsoft State of Decay's zombie series where you take over settlements and build it up. It's one of the better zombie games out there. Oh, okay. I see, I see. Well, like I said, anybody getting to keep their job and continue to do their passion is good news. I also owe you an apology. Berated you before about not doing stuff that we could replicate and or copy, and then you did. And I dismissed it. I have absolutely no idea what you're referring to. And so it was clearly water off a duck's back anyway. Don't worry about it. I guess apology accepted. Right, what are we doing on this dude? Yeah, how do I know which world quest is the storm clearing one? Though apparently now none of them show up on the map for some reason. Oh, now they pop up. Doesn't it have a slightly different icon, the one that's, like, storm-worthy? It's killing mushrooms or something in the middle, isn't it? That's gathering spores. It's not any of those. How do I get the folio thing this week? You seeking knowledge 3 of 5, ley line assaults. Oh, and something to hand in up there. Having this aisle like up the top and off the map that's not so easy to click on, I kind of always forget that it's here. This corner. On my little side adventure of trying to just complete every quest on the map, we are getting there. We are getting there. My hunter has now mostly done pretty much everything, and I'm now in the position of just like chipping away at zone achievements and looking at trying to pay attention to what looks like a meta achievement. I know we don't get the big expansion metas until later in the expansions, but keeping on top of them during the seasons is often good, especially when a lot of them come with like, you can only do this much this week. What are you saying this week, though?
Come with an open mind.
Much to talk about, right? What are we chatting about? Ley line assaults. Collect 5 dark ley coalescence by completing void assaults in Eversong or Zulaman. Okay. How many? Ley line assaults. Where are the assaults this week? In Zulaman. Okay, I guess we're doing some ley line assaults. I have a sneaky feeling I did a bunch of them recently. You only actually need to do 1 assault to get them all. Oh, really? Okay, well that's handy. How do we get out of here? How do we get out of it? Let's go Zulaman then. Not to burst the bubble, but State of Decay was pretty mediocre and boring after a few hours, both 1 and 2, so that would have been justified. Never played either of them, so I have no idea, but if it was one of the better still doesn't necessarily mean good. Certainly doesn't necessarily mean everybody will enjoy it. The only real... I mean, I guess the issue is everybody compares zombie games to, like, Left 4 Dead, right? What was that one on, like, the Xbox 360? Was it called Dead Rising? Not Dead Rising. Although the first Dead Rising was also very good. What was the one about the journalist in, like, abandoned in the sports hall? Was it Dead Rising? I don't know, I can't remember now. I can safely say I've never played that many good zombie games, though. It's coming home. Oh boy. Yeah, we done a brief chatteroony about World Cup related stuff earlier. All I can say is it's stressing me out now. That said, I would have been disappointed if we'd gone out to Mexico. But with the stakes stacked pretty heavily against us during that game, I would also have accepted it. I mean, let's be fair, we were kind of racking up the excuses just in case anyway, weren't we? Norway, though, on the other hand, I genuinely wouldn't mind if we went out to Norway. Like, I'll get behind Norway. Like the underdog story, the Erling Haaland adventure. Like I wouldn't mind I don't mind going out to that.
Remove them from our lands.
Not that I think we will. I think we will win on Saturday. In fact, I'm very confident we will win on Saturday. But like I said, equally, I don't think I'd mind it if we went out. If we go out to Norway, Norway better go on and win the damn thing. That's all I'm saying. Like, no, they better go out and win the whole thing. Row all the way to the final.
The ethereals must not gain any ground. We gonna be there to
Dark
stop them.
Lake Coalescence. I got 1. Where's the next assault? The game on Saturday is going to be interesting against Norway. We genuinely 100% have to go into that game with the mindset that Haaland will score 2 goals. Like, there is absolutely nothing any team out there in the world can do to stop Haaland scoring goals. It's not possible. So you have to expect him to score 2. Which is fine, as long as we score 3. That's as simple as it gets. It's as simple as it gets. We just have to go out there and score more goals than they do. They are going to score 1, if not 2 goals. We just need to score 3. I think putting too much effort into preventing Haaland from scoring will be at the cost of us scoring ourselves, which will only make it a very painful game for everybody involved. I think we need to just accept the fact that Haaland is going to score 2 goals, or Norway are going to score 2 goals, and we absolutely just need to focus on scoring more. That will actually be playing to our benefits. Norway got some good players, but generally speaking, we do have the better squad, even though we seem to have some issues with brittle bones, clearly. We do overall have the better squad of players. Meaning that if we play to that strength, we should be able to score 3 goals. We have proven so far, what is it? Between Kane and Bellingham, they've scored 10 goals so far this World Cup. We're fortunate in the fact that we have proven that we can score goals. We just need to go out and score more than Norway. It's not rocket science. But if we go out and try and play the game in a way that's preventative for Haaland scoring, we'll shoot ourselves in the foot, is my take on it. We'll just shoot ourselves in the foot. As a Scotsman, I get behind whatever team England... Well, yeah, of course. That's just what we do, right? It's just what we do. That's the nature of unnecessary football rivalries. It's just what we do. Reminds me of that tip from WoW about keeping your health points above 0 whilst getting the enemies down to 0. It's simple. Yeah. My point of it though is we could try and employ tactics to stifle Haaland's ability to score. But I think that's futile, because that man scores goals for fun, right? And he can he doesn't need more, as he proved the other day against Brazil. He doesn't need more than 2 touches. You give that man 2 touches, he'll score 2 goals. It's simple as. Second goalie, simple. Can you imagine? We'll just have we'll just put 4 in goal. Yeah, it'll be fine. I don't even think that would stop Haaland scoring. The man scored 7 goals in 4 games during his first World Cup playing for Norway. Like, this man scores goals for fun. Trying to stop him is a pointless exercise. You just have to play to your own strengths and score more at the other end. But we need to do like what we did against Mexico. We have to score first. Because we are actually terrible if we're ever coming from behind. Because we just lose our shit. If ever we're coming from behind, we just don't do very well. I mean, we went fucking 3-1 up, and look how stressful bloody Monday morning's game was. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm not going to get too obsessed about the football.
In time, the wild will recover. You have our thanks.
Stop Odegaard trying to control the game like he did versus Brazil. I mean, he did absolutely incredible. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Our midfield could have had the ability to do the same. We've put all of our chips into our wingers though, haven't we? Which in fairness will play more to our favour if Norway doesn't come out and play heavily defensively. But I don't think they will. They haven't really got reason to be super defensive. Because at the end of the day, it's knockout tournament. It's knockout football. Playing defensively at this point is kind of silly. If you play defensively, you end up playing like Portugal. Which is kind of not the point, you know. Which you just shouldn't be doing. How was the trip? It was good, thank you. It was, from a routine perspective, refreshing. I don't think I actually relaxed much of any. But, you know, lots of good food. A few too many drinky poos. England winning a football game. You know, you can't complain. It's funny, you know, because under normal circumstances, I don't follow club football at all. It's far too much like having a second job following club football. I've lost mates to club football before. Like, it got to the point where it was borderline futile ever asking them if they were free at the weekend, because they were like, no, this game's playing, or I've got to be in the pub to watch this, or, you know, boring. If you're not passionate about football, never go to the pub with somebody who is passionate about football. Because they won't be paying any attention. They won't be able to maintain any form of conversation outside of who's on the telly at that time. Like, just don't bother. So club football's not my jam. But when there's a European Championships or a World Cup, I get unhealthily obsessed with it. Don't watch a single football match nor care other than World Cup and European Cup. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. That's literally... I mean, I find it difficult to even pay that much attention to, like, the qualifying for these tournaments. But the second the tournaments start, I'm all in. I got 2 of these so far. Okay, now the big dudes. Big puppy. This should be the third. 2 more void assaults and we should be good.
No rest, but we must watch for more rituals like this.
I guess you can probably get it all done in one incursion if you just happen to be here at the right time. Or it looks like you need to do 5. You lot have probably already done this, but... Oh, Rage Machine Spirit Paw. There's an achievement linked to this.
With the spirit paw, remove the cursed machines from our lands.
There's an achievement linked to this. To click on these things.
Our village was raided by the
The
Twilight.
problem is this
We need to replenish
completes
our
far too
food.
quick for you to get
You
much
ready for that,
progress on it
Humpty?
each time. Pet do pet things. Pet get aggro, please. Let me click the thing. Then kill everything. Let me click, let me click, let me click. Any more for any more? Who's on my ass? Click it! Click it!
The Imperials will not gain any ground. We're gonna be there to stop them.
Yeah, which one is it? Is what one of these is to rescue 50 forces of Azeroth during void strikes. This is the one. You can only get like 3 or 4 progress to this each time this one specific void assault is up, which is really annoying. Oh, swarming the skies. I hate this one. I might just skip this one. The Void Assaults are insane for leveling ults, by the way. 30 to 50k each, and you can just basically 100% AFK them, wait there 5 minutes, move to the next spot. That's kind of crazy. 30 to 50k each. Still means you need to do like 10 per level, though. Sure, you're not... That sounds like you're probably not actually actively doing much, but it doesn't sound very quick or easy to level ults. It just feels low effort, if that makes sense. A high effort leveling approach is going to be much quicker though. But yeah, if you're third monitoring it, then that's that's probably a good way.
The Tortolans offered us meals to help with the refugees. Mind checking if it be edible?
I'd wonder how
Void beings are
viable
attacking the temple
that
of
is
Janalai.
on a multi-box
Show them who
basis.
protects our lore.
I do need some incredibly low effort way to level all of the alts at some point, which I've in no way, shape or form even started or thought about. I was kind of wondering if 12.1 was going to bring something cheesy to the alt leveling table, but it doesn't particularly look like it is. I mean, I think it was a bit of a blessing in disguise, honestly, having killing the rares in the Undermine be a semi-passive way to get level 80 characters last expansion. Might need something a little bit more serious this time, though. That is if I can be bothered to keep the alt army up to speed. The amount I utilize it, which is like almost none. Up to 17 level 90s now. 10 delves, 5 time walkings. That's a lot of level 90s. Feels like I'm the only one here. This bar's not going up very fast. 98, 99. Big jellyfish. Leveling my crafters solely by the Dun weeklies. Yeah, unironically that's probably not a bad way. Something small, something efficient. Once a week kind of job, yeah. You'll always be doing it with full rested experience. Not that I'm sure that matters too much. My idea is just to delete the old army and make a new one once Remix comes out. Well, yeah, and that.
Void forces are retreating for now. Once again, you have earned the Loa's favor.
I can't imagine we won't get another remix. Can't imagine we won't get another remix. But I would like the remix. I would like the remix to not be so good for leveling alts. Honestly. We're already in a position where even alt army stuff is barely worth the time unless you're like 50 to 100 plus characters. And by the time a third remix comes along, if said third remix ultimately presents the option for like max level characters super duper mega fast again, we gotta start heavily considering that we should just be at the point now where, like, I don't know, Blizzard needs to do something proactive about making sure these alt armies are a little bit in check. I don't know, it's just, I can't help but feel it's getting a bit out of hand. You go back as far as like Shadowlands, and having an alt army in Shadowlands was very valuable, but genuinely required an almost ungodly amount of effort to be put in to even make it in the first place. You got to remember, an alt army of 20 characters was considered flipping pretty good going into like Dragonflight, for example. But now, if you've got, you know, people are fully stacking full accounts, it's really difficult to, I don't know, it just, I've thought for a long time that the pace and the value of leveling is been so poor for so long now that they just might need to do something to basically make leveling not a thing. Like, I almost feel as if maybe once you've got your warband mentor 25%, maybe once you've naturally leveled 5 characters, you should just be able to make like max level characters off the character screen. Like, leveling means so little now. I just genuinely feel as if they should just get rid of it.
Baladash Malanore. The Rendorai shall prove.
And I've been having a growing feeling of this for a couple of expansions now. That when we get these mini events that are so outrageously good for leveling alts, that leveling alts outside of them feels entirely 100% pointless. At what point do you admit defeat that leveling is just a nothing burger piece of content and they just need to get rid of it and they just need to let people make max level characters? Can't sell boosts for $80 if you do that. It's not going to happen. But that same argument would also extend as far as to say, why would they ever let you make a max level character in 10 minutes via a remix event? That would never happen. Like, you're right, you're absolutely spot on. They can't sell boosts if they get rid of leveling. But leveling is literally nothing more than busy work. For a few expansions, it doesn't teach you anything about your class, really. You can level a character so quick to max level now, and the game changes so aggressively when you are max level. Like, it means so little. Leveling just means so little. Made 3 full accounts during Remix and has only played 3 characters in the whole of Midnight. Yeah, I'm sure you're not the only one. Genuinely, I'm sure you're not the only one. Curious how many boosts do they actually sell. They sell enough to, you know, they clearly sell enough, but started playing TBC Classic from level 1, such a refresher from retail. I'm enjoying the slower gameplay, very chill, nostalgic. It is the Classic appeal, isn't it? People do like Classic because it is slower paced. Then again, people like retail because it's faster paced. And I'm mostly of the opinion now that 80 to 90 is like a few hours effort. The whole earthen thing, which, to be fair, they're nerfing the earthen leveling in the next patch. But earthen leveling pretty trivialized the 1 to 80 route. The only issue is you then end up being an earthen that nobody really wants to be, but for profession-related stuff, who cares? Level a ton of alts in Remix. First, you need to be there. Second, people who level a ton of alts during Remix are probably not the target audience for boost purchasing, I'd assume. Yeah, it's like boosts appeal to a completely different category of people. It's the same logic as like selling mythic BOEs on the auction house, in my opinion. The people who are buying boosts are the people you literally never hear about, or hear from, or hear of. Right? The people who are buying boosts are the people that casually pick up the game because their friend had told them to pick up the game. They actually genuinely start enjoying playing the game a little bit, but it took them 15 hours to level their first character, and they don't want to do it again, and so they'll pay $60 just to get another character. And then 2 months later, they'll get bored of the game, quit, and never come back again. That's the kind of character, you know, a churn character. Somebody that literally, you know, they get hooked into the game, they get, you know, they buy into a new expansion. They want to, they see Ellie shamans popping off, and they want a shaman, but they don't want a level one. They, you know, they'll spend $60. Disposable income. That's the kind of character I think that's going to be hitting up the store boosts. Not your sort of long-term veteran, dedicated lifer kind of player. They're not the people. The people who, yeah, the people who abuse leveling in Remix are not the target audience for boosts in the first place. Vines grabbed. No, that's not the one. Oh, I don't know which ones is the storm one. It's going to annoy me because I'm going to miss this opportunity again. Friends of mine who play Classic talk shit about retail are the ones buying boost after boost. In Classic, don't understand them. Hey, people can spend their disposable income however the hell they want. If it's being hypocritical, then that's only a them issue, innit? it's, you know. That's their issue. Right, why do I have quite so many quests in my quest log? You think you'll play Classic Plus? No idea. We don't know what Classic Plus is yet. If it has any Season of Discovery vibes, I might give it a go. If it's genuinely something, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The issue for me, and the reason I don't play Classic, is I played Classic when Classic was Classic. Like, it doesn't appeal to me very heavily to go back and do it again. I know it's a grind. The grind was fun when it was a grind. And when it was all new. But the grind isn't particularly fun when I know the outcome. And I've already achieved the outcome once, if that makes sense. That doesn't super appeal to me. So I don't know. If Classic Plus brings something that, you know, scratches an itch, then maybe. But if it's literally just another refresh of Classic, then probably not. But like I said, we don't know what Classic Plus is. We don't know when Classic Plus is coming out. I mean, leaks would sort of suggest, you know, it's not anytime soon. But I guess BlizzCon will give us some info. Am I capped on the amount of dun-duns I can get this week? I'm kind of assuming I am. I'm assuming I can't get any more. Even though my total maximum is 0 out of 8. I don't know what that means. Does that mean I can get 8 more dun-duns? I just can't spend them? I need to go double check the fishing. I think I've done my fishing this week. I have 1 fishing achievement. Not fishing, anglers, I should say, sorry. Got 1 angler achievement still to go. Which is to finish off the million points. Yeah, I've got 901,000 angler points. You have 0 and cannot get any more this week. Okay. So then maybe going over here is kind of pointless if I... that means I've probably also got my fused vitality from this week. Yeah. You have 0 out of 8 possible in your inventory, and the plus 0 says that you can't get any more that week. Okay, that's cool to know. Thank you.
Akilzon's winds brought you to me.
Get a few more pearls for the alts. You can farm mythic crests in 1207 now. Sort of, yes. Tier 6 rituals, if you can comfortably farm those at a reasonable rate, you can technically farm them. It's 5 mythic crests per tier 6 ritual. You also get 10 heroic crests on completion, so every third ritual you'll get 10 more myth crests, because you convert up your hero ones. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 myth crests every 3 runs. That's how it plays out numbers wise.
I'm listening, my friend.
If I try and farm up pearls in a relatively optimal way, like 20 runs of this is enough to get the last achievement, and 20 runs of this should also get me enough pearls for a bunch of my alts to not have to worry about this for a few weeks. I don't know when they changed this, but they've changed it at some point. The big 99 armor mythic dude now gives like 2 kill credits per kill. So if you've got the achievement to kill him 6 times, you don't actually need to kill it 6 times, you only need to do it 3 now. Bit easier. Ooh, Tarnished Dawnlight Sigil for 9,000 gold. Don't mind if I do. Was that actually was that TSM reporting the right one? Yep. Nice cheeky 133 ring sale. Don't mind if I do.
The Loa are back. I feel like a child again.
still need to finish leveling my fishing. Maybe I actually use some of these dun-dun shards to get cheeky fishing boost. Not dun-dun shards, the unalloyed abundance. It's like 6,000 is it 6,000 unalloyed for 100 fishing skill? It might be worth sacrificing a week's worth of abundance to get my fishing leveled. Ready for the next patch, where we'll be doing a lot of fishing, I think. Where's my fishing skill right now? It's 200 plus, we can get it to 300 in one go. Oh, 199. I don't think I've made... Have I made... I haven't made the cooking to epic yet. Nor have I made my epic fishing rod. But I think both jewel crafting and leatherworking are full now. Leatherworking, jewel crafting, yeah. Yeah, any fused vitalities now into secondary professions. One day I'll finish this. Archaeology to 950. One day. One day. $199. Need one more point. Today is that day? No, probably not. 200. Right, now I can boost it to 300 using the unalloyed abundance, can't I?
Sit down with me. Let me tell you a story from my day.
Now, in theory, I should probably get the fishing enchant for me rod as well ready for the next patch, but that thing's quite expensive. Either expensive to buy or time consuming to build it yourself. There's still humongous amounts of the profession achievements that I've never bothered to get. But so many of them, when I looked at them, were like, would you like to spend 80,000 gold to get 5 achievement points? And I was just like, no. There's an element of completionist to get, like, in me for sure. But so many of the achievements for the professions, when they were added, just seemed totally pointless. I just flat out ignored the entire system. It's weird though, because I'll often quite comfortably spend more than an hour's worth of effort gaining an achievement. When you break it down, I could have spent that hour making gold. Almost done with the Abyss Anglers, not even halfway to the 1,000,000 points. The 1,000,000 points is actually not that difficult. If you just hardcore farm every treasure, you can there's about 40,000 points if you just clean the map of all the treasures. It's not very efficient to do from the purpose of getting pearls. So what I've chosen to do is just do lots of small little runs, few thousand points, log out, reset, do it again. But you can quite easily get like 30,000 plus achievement points per run if you just zoom and grab all of the treasures. It's probably nothing more than a little bit time consuming, but that's it. It's also not really necessary. I'm just doing it to have a bit of a backlog of pearls, so then I don't have to worry about it for a few weeks. Still have to go through 250 schools of fish in the mill, just can't farm the treasures. The schools of fish one is another one. There's about 30 schools of fish in the whole map. And it only takes a couple of runs for you to realise they all spawn in exactly the same point every time. So you quickly build a bit of a route in your head. It's one of those ones I actually do recommend just like, you'll never accidentally casually do that one. I'd recommend just like saying, right, now I'm just going to figure out where all of the schools of fish are. And after a couple of runs, you'll know your route and you just zoom through the entire thing. But yeah, stacking up a few thousand pearls,
I'd never see the day
getting
they
the last
tried
one
for
of
you.
these done. And then in theory, in fact in probably more than theory, once I've got the 1,000,000 point achievement, I'll probably never touch this ever again. The 3 fused vitality per week will just have to go into the category of, no, I'm not going to bother. While I've still got achievements and something to do within the minigame, I'll entertain it, but I think we're only a handful of runs away from never doing this again. Day 1 of doing the anglers, though, if you've not touched the content at all, it was a fun few hours just, like, trying to find all the different fish and, like, that mini sort of, the mini adventure of unlocking all of the better scuba gear. The irony being is that most of it is completely pointless, but it's on a vendor, and so you kind of feel as if you should. The first hour or two of pissing around with this anglers was quite fun. Completing it, 100%ing it though is kind of a bit of a dumb move, if I'm honest.
It is Akilzon's favor.
But it's one of those, it's sunk cost, isn't it? When you're this close to finishing, you just kind of gotta cross the finish line. Gotta do it. Show on the map, please. The anglers is in this top right-hand corner of Zulaman. Got the big fishing icon on your map. Yeah, it was a fun mini little roguelite for a few hours if you've never touched it before. It definitely was more enjoyable for the first couple of hours than it presented itself on the beta. This Anglers event was actually on the beta for a while at least, but of course it never made it to Live's launch. It came out in 1205, I think. I never bothered looking at it in much detail on the beta. I saw K-Chak do it for an hour or two and was like, that looks actually tragic. But like I said, it was actually quite fun for the first couple of hours at least when it came out.
Again.
And for the profession junkies, the fact that there's 3 fused vitality available from the vendor per week. It's helpful, at least, if you are a little bit behind with your epic profession tools, if you care about such things. Ah, 5,500 points is enough. How many pearls are we up to? 6,500. Oh wait, I'm still missing something. Estimated amount needed to obtain remaining things. 750 pearls. What am I missing? Am I missing one of the decor items? Collected, 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 collected. No. Game, you lie. Are you going to claim I still need 750 of these? Oh, is it going to... Yeah, it probably claims I still need them because I still need fused vitality for some things. Is probably why it's going to claim that I still need them, even though I actually don't. I've collected everything.
I'm listening, my friend.
You don't sell anything.
May
No.
Akilzon bear you on her wings.
There used to be a treasure in between these rocks, and now it's gone. I'm starting to get the itch, though, boys and girls, to go play GTA. I know it's really early. I know GTA 6 doesn't come out until November. But I'm really getting the itch to go play GTA 5 again. I know we've not long... It wasn't that long ago we did a GTA 5 storyline playthrough. But there's part of me that wants to grind out GTA Online a bit for a while. The thing is I know the gameplay loop of GTA Online. It's not very transparent. And the gameplay loop is very simply grind $, to spend $, on new thing that lets you grind more $. But the I don't know, the becoming a criminal mastermind overlord vibes has always appealed to me in video games. One of my favourite games of all time, which is actually being remade, or not, or HD remade, is the one of the old Scarface games. I don't know. Something about being some sort of drug overlord, mafioso kind of criminal mastermind has always appealed to me in video games. I mean, it's kind of it's not that far off, you know, the Goblin lifestyle in WoW, is it? Let's be real. Scrooge McDuck sitting on a pile of cash monies. Definitely similar vibes. I was thinking the other day that when you look at the success of GTA Online and how simplistic the gameplay loop of GTA Online actually is, you start to have more appreciation for just how ridiculously good World of Warcraft is, as a game that's existed for 20 years. Like, the level of depth to the gameplay, like, you can compare World of Warcraft to GTA Online, and fundamentally they offer the same gameplay loop. But the level of depth to what you can achieve in World of Warcraft is like 500 times deeper. And when you look at how much success GTA Online has had, you start to realize just how much of a cash cow retail WoW probably has been for the last 20 years. To the point where people like myself have legitimately made it a career path, which if you told me 10 years ago that I'd be playing this game, basically that's a job, I'd have laughed at your face. I do try very hard to remember that this opportunity is actually mental. The auction house mafia. Yes, of course. That to me feels like one of like the biggest WoW conspiracies, you know. The thought process that there's some sort of mafia on the auction house is just hysterical to me. It's a perspective that can only be held by somebody that has never ever done anything to make any reasonable amount of gold in this game themselves. If you've ever put any effort into trying to like make a bunch of gold in WoW, you would know very, very quickly that even the concept of being an auction house mafia is hysterically stupid. But, you know, flat earthers exist, so never be surprised just how stupid some people are. It's exactly what a mafia leader would say. Lol. Grandfather? Capo de Tutti Capo, or whatever it is. What's the one above grandfather? Godfather.
Is that your wallet? Or you just
I don't know my New
Both,
York
I hope.
Italian mafia ranks very well. Lem Doran, thank you very much for the resub. Good morning to you, and welcome in, and many thanks. Appreciate that. Cracking use of the Prime. Oh, a tier 1 even. Sorry, I did not mean to undervalue your support there. Thank you very much. It came up as a Prime on my my list for some reason. Sorry, I know me flying around picking up treasures whilst fishing is clearly not the most engaging of content, but we are so close to the finish line. I need 20,000 angler points, and then I'll probably never have to touch this again. Or a little under 20,000. 3 or 4 more runs. But yeah, the bug to go and become a billionaire in GTA Online before GTA 6 comes out is really starting to grab me. And I don't know how, but YouTube seems to know, because my feed keeps getting splashed with the GTA Online content creators. One of my favorite, I don't think the game itself, like Vice City was incredible in its day, but I don't think of all of the GTA games, Vice City is truly my favorite. But one thing I did very much enjoy was the end game of Vice City, where you own all the businesses. And just really weird. It was so fun to fly around in your little helicopter, just flying from business to business to business, collecting your money. And that's all. I did that for hours, during Vice City. Just, you know, the very end game of Vice City when you where you own everything, and it was just like, yep, this is big dick mode now. I actually have. This is probably a bit of a hot take because it's probably not an opinion that's shared, but GTA 4 with Nico Bellic was probably, from a story's perspective, maybe my favourite. And the more I talk about this, the more the temptation to go and play them all again is going to kick in. Nine, 5, 2. Oh my God, we are one run away.
It is Akilzon's
This will be the
favorite.
final one. 5,000 points, 10 treasures, 10 treasures to go. Nine treasures. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, boom. Boom, boom, shake the room. 1,000,000 point achievement is mine. There we go. There we go. Never have to touch the Abyss Anglers ever again. Did you do the one? That's Anglers 100% for me now. Finito. Finito. That gives me... How many pearls are we sat on now? Nearly 10k pearls. That'll do. That'll do. This is also... I've bought everything I need to buy with the pearls as well. This is just all fused vitality money from here on. Now time to fire up GTA. Oh no, it's very tempting. Very, very tempting. I think Preach has recently done a full playthrough of the story of the campaigns at GTA, hasn't he? On his stream. Yeah. I know the flipping GTA 6 doesn't come out until November, but I am legitimately starting to get the bug. Definitely getting the bug. Okay. That was another squirrel that needed dealing with. That has been dealt with efficiently, I may add. What we got in Zulaman for completion purposes? This Curse of Ulatek isn't actually available yet, I found out. There's a quest line that takes us into the 12.1 content that isn't out yet, which has a little mini achievement line to it. What's Tour of Duty? $1,000 honor in Zulaman. Well, that's not happening, is it? Vendors want me to buy a few things. 3,000 Void Light Marl for a cloak appearance that I will categorically never use. Void Light Marl is going to be the bane of my life because I am never going to have enough of it. Never, ever, 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 ever. I have a grand total of 43,000 of it across all of my characters. And ATT claims I still need 255,000 of it. I kind of need to get into the habit of doing the weekly quest on a lot of alts, don't I? To rack this up. That's going to be a bit of a boo-boo situation. Enchant tool, Amani perception. Ah, there's a handful of enchants I have not claimed on my enchanter. Well, time to grab these then, I guess. And a contract on my scribe I've not picked up. Gotta get the recipes. Recipes are high priority for me. Got 100k mile just by doing my 2-hour rare farm route every day. Every rare gives you 50 of them. You need to kill them anyway for the mounts. Oh, is that what you've been doing? Have you literally just been spending... You've been just literally killing every rare in every zone every day? Damn. Have you have you got the 2 mounts then? Or are you still working on that one? Some people have said they've done thousands of rare kills and not even got one of them. Makes me think the drop rates are crazy level low. $5,000 Void Light Marl for another appearance I'm never going to use. Got one to drop in Zulaman the other day, but the drop rates are super low. If you've been, like, you farmed up 100k Void Light Marl, and I've only got one of the mounts, that tells me I'm never getting those. There's a few appearances I need from the world boss. Abundance I am still massively behind on.
Is that your wallet?
There's so many. I've just realised there is so many
Both, I
appearances
hope.
you can obtain from the overflowing abundance satchels. It's kind of crazy. Kind of wild. Zin Pow! Mom at 51 months. That is outrageous. Thank you very much. Close to that 5-year pin. That's some big numbers. You crossed the half century. I appreciate that. Thank you. That is some incredible long time support. Farmed up way more mile, but also spent a lot. 87k mile to go for me. Yeah, we got to start figuring out. Fortunately for me, I don't really care about the transmogs, so that is going to take a huge chunk of the need for the Void Light Marl away. But the ATT bug does get me. It's not going to be long before I can actually buy all of the abundance stuff as well. That, or I need to do abundance on characters I don't actually care about epic gear on, which is also none. I haven't even got the mounts with the unalloyed abundance yet either. Not covered writings. Increase midnight fishing skill to 100 up to a maximum of 300. 6,400 unalloyed abundance. That's nearly an entire week's progress. I could just go and get that now. The question is do I spend a week's worth of unalloyed on upping my fishing skill? Or do I just naturally level up my fishing skill? We're going to be doing so much fishing in the next patch. In 12.1. I don't know if I want to burn myself out fishing now. Those mounts will show up in the shop or the trader's post eventually. Oh, probably. Well, they won't be the exact ones, but yeah. Bursting Bounty Bundle. Oh, I've not bought the toy either. Okay, there's lots of stuff I still need to get from Abundance. But that's not strictly a zone-specific thing. Lingering Shadows is the Void Assaults. Fucking... This is screwing up my ATT percentages for the zones, you know. Abundance and flipping Void stuff showing up in all of my zone-related stuff is screwing with my numbers. Just because I've not spent humongous amounts on all of the cosmetics. This kind, you can probably farm the rares, can't you, in the 2 new zones and get most of these? Instead of buying them with Voidlight Marl and Accolades. And the unfortunate nature is anything that's tradable, anything that's sellable, such as all these Void Touched stuff, I'm very unlikely to get the appearances for these because I would rather have the gold. But maybe I should live by the theory of learn the first and sell the second on this sort of stuff. Dark particles as well, look. 0 progress on the dark particles purely because I'm always going to sell the items before I learn the items. Has anybody got all these appearances yet? Has anybody been has anybody hit the dark particles hard? 150 dark particles a piece, but RNG to get them all efficiently. New zone is good for the particles now. Prices are collapsing though. Many of them are 2k or less. Are they really? There's lots of these, you know. These Scream Island Expedition style genuinely screams like Island Expedition style content. Big business right now because everybody's got loads of flipping dark particles and nothing to do with them. Probably why the prices of these are getting cheap. But all of these appearances are unique appearances. And some of them are actually really quite cool. Which definitely gives me a Island Expedition vibe to these cosmetics. And by that I mean they will probably hold quite some value for years to come. So I'm not overly fussed about selling them particularly quickly. I think these will be some of these cosmetics will be those lovely 50 to 100k sales you randomly make out of nowhere in the future. Missing a Forest Hunter's Quiver, but apparently I've got everything else possible from those, alright, sure. But yeah, those Void Assaults are screwing with my percentage. Curse of Ulatek's not possible yet, so we can't do that one. Need to go kill some rares. Got the Imani Field pouch finished, but it took way more attempts than I would like to admit. Yeah. When it's only the cosmetics left, I unfortunately have very little enthusiasm to farm them too hard. Surprisingly, I would imagine an awful lot of the Voidlight Marl that I've obtained has come from flipping farming treasures, you know. Mostly for the weekly knowledge points. And the fact that I can't fly past a treasure without picking it up. Even if I don't need anything from them for the week. See a shiny, gotta pick it up. I'm literally a magpie these days. Literally a magpie. Some of these rares are the rares I need to kill. You've got something I need, a war cloak. Yeah, that killing the rares every day vibe. I like that vibe, you know. Even though it feels like something that would be smart to do multi-box. Because, you know, 5 attempts per... Oh, ow, is Pet not doing pet things? Yeah, I do feel that farming lumber is still a very, you know, very valuable thing to be doing. I've really not taken full advantage of the midnight lumber and decor market yet. We're getting, we're making steady progress over on the NA realm though. I've not logged on to the NA realm on stream, I don't think, for a while. But the we're up to about 70 decor recipes, I think, over on NA now. Now there's about 300-ish in total, or 240 because I don't actually have midnight on that account. So we're about a third of the way there in terms of collected recipes, and that's meaning that, you know, the occasional steady sale from decor is now starting to come in. Oh, we got the appearance, lovely stuff. That's one more rare we don't need to kill every day. Decaying Diamondback. Kill the ads because I don't know what the ads do. What do we need from this dude? Diamondback scale leg guards. No surprise, the rares where I need something from are the big stinking level 92 elite ones. Fortunately, we're geared enough to solo these nowadays. I still haven't got used to the fact I've actually got item level, you know. Sure, it's not as high as some people's out there, but it still feels ever so slightly weird to me to actually be running around in, like, actually what's considered reasonable gear. I spend most of my playtime in this game having absolute scrub level gear at best. I mean, it's not going to be for long because obviously as soon as the next season turns up, we're going to be back in Scrubville, but oh, I should really stop letting my pet die. Right, go on, game. Bless me with the loot. Preferably a mount. Never lucky. Skull Crusher. One day your pets will revolt. I'm surprised they haven't already. Genuinely surprised they haven't already.
RB's favorite bloodthirsty insect from the leech ball. Help gather some more for the hunt.
I really don't look after me pigeons very well. What do we need from you? Oh, no, wait. We didn't actually need to kill you. Realised we didn't actually need to kill you. It's just my my waypoint add-on is continuously telling me to go and pick up treasures even though I don't need them. Skull Crusher is who? This one? No, that's the Murlocky dude. Murlocky dude's there. Where is he? At least the rares are not actually rare these days. If you want to fly around and just kill the rare. I mean, this, unironically, might not be a terrible... I mean, it's not probably that great of a Voidlight Mile farm, but if you haven't got humongous amounts of alts to be cheesing weekly quests on, this is probably not bad if you need more of the stuff. And the odd occasional 220 from all of the treasures adds up. Elder Oak Talon. This one. See a tree, gotta whack it, gotta whack the tree. So much flipping Thalassian ore needed. Thalassian ore? Lumber. Jesus. How much have I got? 421 of it. 1,438 Thalassian lumber is needed just to craft one of everything. Yeah, look at these numbers in comparison, right? 4, 5, 600 lumber needed to craft one of everything from the past expansions. And then boom, 1,400 when you get to Midnight stuff. It's probably not that surprising. They've toned back the quantity of lumber for Midnight stuff. It does kind of... It's a bit of a feels bad, though, for anybody that has pre-crafted Midnight lumber. If they're dropping the... If they're cutting the amount of lumber that's needed, it does pretty aggressively devalue any pre-existing farming that's been done, which is always a bit of a... That's a bit of a feels bad, but it's just that can't really be helped. Right, what are you going to give me? Cover of the Furbog Elder. One thing I do need to do in Zulaman is farm up 1,000 of these things. Where have they? These vile essences. 1,000 of these for the Hexed Vile Feather Eagle. That is an astronomical amount of a currency to need just to buy one mount. That's something that probably will get left until the end of the expansion, where I've got 4 or 5 geared characters and can just multi-box it. A Vile Essence Zone Drop, that's the last thing. Right, I need... Where does this come from? Enchant Ring, Eyes of the Eagle. This is 200 gold on the auction house. Why am I missing so many enchants? Why has my poor enchanter not done their job? I didn't realise I had so many recipes I still need. I still need to buy the contract on my scribe. And apparently a whole bunch of enchants. Gotta claim those. What's this loads? Let me grab a drink. Probably need some treasures actually on this dude. It might not be a terrible idea if we're gonna go and grab some recipes to get some treasures at the same time. Down here somewhere. Oh, one thing I haven't done actually is it just that ATT might not have... No, there is an actual fuck ton of recipes I've clearly just not ever got around to picking up. Look how many flipping decor items enchanting has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 recipes. 11 midnight recipes. I had not realised they had so many. Wait, has the change already happened then on the amount of lumber? Like, this takes 14 lumber. 18 lumber? 32 is still a big number, but I don't remember random numbers like 14 lumber being a thing before. Though these do still use quite a lot. I need to look into that in a bit more detail if the pin lumber values are being halved. Definitely need to get our hands on the recipes. One thing I didn't check is if I've even got enough... Oh, yeah, I got 3,400 Moxie. I think I've got enough. I think I've got enough. I can grab a couple of treasures, actually. I can grab the 2 enchanting treasures. And this might be the week to do the catch-up points for enchanting. Where'd he go? That's the only thing that stops me doing the catch-up for enchanting. The fact that I need to actually get the treasures to qualify for them. And then, to be fair, crafting a bunch of gear with engineering is a bit time-consuming, but...
Our beasts favor bloodthirsty insects from the leech bog. Help gather some more for the hunt.
Talking of treasures, yoink. Where's this one then? In the house?
I deal in the most exotic goods.
Ah,
Come back
still got
soon.
delve
I'll
quests to
have
hand
more
in.
goods.
Clearly didn't hand those in during leveling then.
Goods passed down through generations of Amani. Thank ya for taking a look, child.
Right, so in here we've apparently got some enchanting recipes. Enchant weapon strength of Halazi. Yoink. Enchant tool perception. Yoink. Endless codex of nature's grace. Yoink. In theory, that should be it, right?
Recommend me to Zudrara, will ya?
Oh, where did the other ones go? Ta-da! Oh, I've just realised ATT tracks first craft bonuses. Ha! Okay. It's quite clever.
My goods are my pride. Come back soon.
Right, we need to come back here on the scribe to get the contract. Can I, though, quickly find a Void Storm Ashes? What do we think the odds are? What? This is just a day of squirrels again. This is why I don't open ATT at the very beginning of an expansion, because it just leads to just days and days and days of squirrel finding. Alassian Waystone, that's not the right one, that's the blacksmithing one. Oh god, we found both blacksmithing ones, but only one of the enchanting ones. That means this Void Storm Ashes is basically never to be found. I don't know why, there's some sort of weird coding in the game, I'm convinced of it. That when you find 3 of the treasures, you're just cucked on the 4th one.
Find us many fish to feast upon.
I swear it's on some sort of weird internal cooldown, the 4th one. Mount. Have a look. Oh. Haha! I tell a lie. We got those unnaturally easily. Well, that means that kind of luck means we have to do the catch up for enchanting, really. It'd be rude not to at this point. Let's half back then. Let's, have I genuinely got 30 Void Augment runes just lying around in my bags? Right, we need some stuff to disenchant now then. We need for engineering to work. How many glimmering powders are sat there? 58 glimmering powders plus the weekly stuff. I probably need, I don't know, 100 items to disenchant. Maybe even more. Might even need to be a little bit more than that. How and where and why am I spending the knowledge points? That's finished. I need 20 for in here. And then this tree is full. I mean, at that point, probably just start stacking it into disenchanting. This tree will mean that any enchant in the game I can craft at max quality. I mean, I guess we could finish this tree. The chances of me standing there just mass disenchanting at any point ever is basically 0. The points in disenchanting doesn't really seem that valuable to me. We'll see. Right, let's get engineering. I need to craft 100 to 150 cheap shit to disenchant. Cheap shit to disenchant. Engineering, you. Oh, man, I wish all of the professions had a catch-up system like enchanting. I don't know why they consider enchanting like a gathering profession these days. I mean, I'll take it, but it still seems weird. Why does enchanting get an easy path to victory when everybody else just gets absolutely fisted? Seems so illogical. Right, gimme like 100 Evercores or something. Jesus, look at the price of these things. Basically free. Oh, I've actually got no inventory space. That's going to be more of a problem than anything else. We'll do it in batches of 50 then, I guess. 3 batches of 50. The question is what am I crafting? Where's the thing that uses just Evercore? Evercore wrists. Go. Craft 50 of these, send these over to the enchanter, get them disenchanted, rinse and repeat until we got all the catch-up points. That seems like the play. Can you resource proc on a single Evercore? In theory you can, but 33% resourcefulness. Yeah, you can, look. Literally for free. Never understood why enchanting catch-up isn't on patron orders like everybody else is. I guess they class it as a gathering profession more than a crafting one. Yeah, it's really weird. Like, it just seems odd how the rules seem to be bent for enchanting, but not anybody else's. No idea why. It's really felt over the last couple of expansions as if there are very specific devs that are in charge of specific professions, yet they don't like each other or talk to each other. Like, who in their right mind ever decided to make a piece of crafted gear use 1 Evercore? Like, how did this go live like this? This is what I genuinely don't get. There is so much stuff with the profession system that just actually baffles me these days. Make 50 more. And where's it gone? Cloth. Evercore Zoom Shroud, that's the one. Let me favourite this, because I craft this all the time. For this exact reason. 50 more. Go. Times like this, we do not complain. It's just weird. It's just odd. It shows just how big of a team, you know, Blizzard is. That things that you would think are so close together and so, like, related are just clearly made by completely different people in different, you know, groups, in different departments, in whatever, different teams, whatever you want to call it. The economy would be so different, I think, even with a subtle cup. Like, if you couldn't recycle pigments, Tranquility Bloom pigments, I don't know what the pigment's actually called, powder pigment. If you couldn't recycle powder pigment, the value of Evercores would be more than 0. And if some of this gear required more than 1 Evercore, like, the reality is the entire enchanting market is in the bin because of 2 really weird decisions that were never changed. Being able to recycle powder pigment is problematic because you can make an awful lot of powder pigment from not a lot of herbs, and the fact that quality then doesn't really matter. Then on top of that, the fact that you've got crafted gear that can be made basically for free has ultimately led to dust and shards being worth absolutely nothing. Which, such a weird scenario. Like, it almost feels like Blizzard does this often where they swing the pendulum in, like, completely the opposite direction. So you go from one extreme to another. And that kind of feels like how they've dealt with enchanting. They clearly looked at, oh, everybody has got thousands of enchanters and using concentration, and they're all making far too much gold from enchanting concentration. How do we fix that? Well, we'll swing the pendulum completely the other way to basically make most enchanting mats worth absolutely nothing. It seems so odd. It's such an odd scenario that it feels as if it couldn't have just been accidental. That's the thing that surprises me most. If I genuinely thought that it was just an accident, you'd be like, oh, well, they just didn't check it, or it wasn't quality controlled. But it's so broken, but in a very deliberate way almost. I don't know. It's just weird. I think about this stuff far too much, clearly. I want to see a breakdown of how many man hours was given a given thing took to make. It'd be really illuminating. It's, yeah. Yeah, I think if you actually found out, because they, for a couple of weeks about, oh, well, pretty much forever now, so there was a lot of work that had to happen in Dragonflight for Dragonflight's launch because they completely rebuilt the whole system. So there was a lot of effort that had to happen there. But for both The War Within and Midnight, they've basically copied the same template and then spent a bit of time tweaking it and making it like a bit different. So actually, the amount of time that was probably spent on developing the system was probably a lot lower than most people would expect or hope. Does the profession system still have all the sub-trees? Yeah. There's still lots of spec trees, and they're still mostly just as confusing to most people as they always were. It was surprising to see with them trying to simplify the professions that they didn't really choose to touch the spec trees. You know, and the fact that like, if you look at tailoring is more of a mess and more complicated and more confusing today than it ever was, which is weird. Like, they've genuinely gone backwards with the simplicity for tailoring. Right, that's 150 Evercore Zoom Shrouds, which we should now be able to disenchant and get our points for. In other words, you're saying that a dev like me built in a quote-unquote cheat and just hoped nobody else would discover it, only for it to become the standard. Well, this is it. Like, the game is... And this was one of the problems with Midnight, with the profession system. The overall... the overall approach of trying to simplify the profession system to make it easier for people to get into and play with was, at a high level, a good idea. But the practicality of how they implemented that basically meant that anybody that knew how the system worked just had nothing new to figure out, nothing new to work out, and basically meant that everybody hit the ground running. Or anybody that wanted to could hit the ground running, knowing absolutely everything there was to know about the profession system before it even went live. And with no big chunk of, like, new thing to figure out, it was just a done game. Like, it was just a maths equation that was completely solved before the expansion went live. So the race to the bottom has been just so aggressive, so fast, that we're now, less than one season in, and we're dealing with end of expansion prices of materials and things. It's just kind of bonkers. We shouldn't really be dealing with this level of, like, cheapness of stuff this quickly. But because it was so figured out, margins were pushed to absolute zero as quickly as they possibly could. And the end result of that... Oh my god, what's going on here? Can I not... Didn't land in fishable water. Why am I trying to fish? Why is it trying to fish and not disenchant? Oh, it's my disenchant. Haha, okay. Can I not just get TSM destroy? So that's easier to just press a button, isn't it? Have I done the weekly quest? Yeah, so we just need to get our basic weekly ones first. Then we should start getting the glimmering powders. The fact that you have to spec into multiple different tree sections in tailoring just to be able to max craft, say, a cloak is insane. Oh, I mean, tailoring is just a huge mess. It's the epitome of mess. There is nothing more broken than the tailoring spec tree, that's for sure. Fortunately, most of the other professions are a lot more straightforward and a lot more simplistic. but they still follow the same pattern, which is like, you have a tree that boosts your stats, you have a tree that boosts your skill at a thing, so you still are sort of putting points in different places, and if you don't read the entire tree, or you don't install an add-on to tell you exactly where to put your points, there's a big old learning curve if you haven't learnt it. But there's the flip side. All of the player base that have already learnt it, nothing new or nothing significant changed enough that all of the people from the last 2 expansions that already have broken this system down and figured it out in its entirety have just dominated and completely crushed the markets within a matter of minutes. Because there was nothing new to figure out, right? Last expansion, we had thaumaturgy, which was fundamental to making profit with crafting last expansion. And those that took the time to figure out how it worked, they made a bunch of gold with it. But everybody that didn't take the time to figure out how it worked was often questioning why they couldn't make profit with anything. And it's because people were getting their materials through thaumaturgy at a 5 to 10% discount than most others. And that was the you either make gold or you don't sort of tipping point. Are they good add-ons to help you place your points? Not anything that places points for you per se, but Craft Sim, for example, can allow you to select a recipe and it will tell you what points in your spec tree will benefit that recipe. Right, we only got 8 of the catch-up points. Clearly we have a lot to go. If you want to avoid the race to the bottom competition, you have to compete on quality. If you can't do it cheaper than everybody else, you have to do it better than everybody else. But I guess that doesn't really work in the video game. Yeah, this is the thing. This is kind of like that was the pre-Dragonflight, you know, overarching idea about the profession system. That it should be pretty simple to make basic potions and flasks. But if you want to make good, you know, if you don't like, because alchemy historically has always been very, 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 very competitive on price, right? Basically forever, right? It's always been a profitable market, but the profits have always been absolutely tiny per potion, per flask. So going into Dragonflight, they were like, okay, well, anybody can compete on price with the basic stuff, but you're going to have to put more effort and more skill and more expertise to make the higher quality stuff. Which, you know, for Dragonflight was novel, and it was new, and it was interesting, and it took players time to work it out. And because it took players enough time to work it out, there was good margin in it for those that did work it out quickly. They changed just about enough in the War Within to reset that learning curve, I think, for a lot of people. Adding in patron orders, adding in concentration, adding in systems like thaumaturgy, changed the landscape just enough for there to be something new to figure out and work out. So those who did figure it out did reasonably well in the War Within as well. Or those that jumped on the new system, like concentration, for example. But Midnight, they just cut bits out. And when you cut too much out, it's too easy for those people that already know the game. And it is meant that those players have very easily strangled everybody else from extracting any value out of the system whatsoever. Coming back after taking a break after Cataclysm, crafting was a huge time sink when it came to relearning everything. Yeah, I mean it is, and it kind of is meant to be, and it should be. The time and effort it takes to learn how to do something well. What you really want, the best scenario is that you want there to be something that if you put time and effort into, there is actually a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? You want there to be, if you need to put a lot of time and effort into something, you would hope that there's at least a reward at the end of it. Which was true in Dragonflight when they revamped the system. If you put the effort in, the gold was definitely there. There was definitely that journey that you put the time in, you put the effort in, you'll get something out of it. People figured it out mostly throughout Dragonflight, how it all worked and how it all linked together. So then going into the next expansion, they needed to change up a bunch of it so that everybody didn't instantly know exactly how it worked. And it, for the most part, the War Within wasn't as lucrative as Dragonflight for a lot of people, but there was lots of issues with the system in Dragonflight because it was the first implementation and things were a little bit, the inspiration system wasn't particularly player friendly. Too much RNG involved for most people in Dragonflight, so it was difficult. The War Within, they smoothed out some of those things and they added concentration, they added thaumaturgy, and there was enough for people to work out. But, like I said, Midnight, they just haven't done enough to change the crafting scene, which is a shame. And that now means that if you do look at it, and there's both a massive learning curve to figuring it all out, but there isn't that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the unfortunate, sensible advice to people is just don't bother. And this is a really weird situation for me to be in. 2 expansions ago, I was ranting and raving how the profession system was the best thing that they'd ever done in the game, and I still stand by that now. But because we've still got the same thing, they haven't changed it enough. It's now at the opposite end of the scale where it's just trash, and I wouldn't recommend most people mess around with crafting at all because it's just a catch-20. It feels like a bait situation. It doesn't feel like you can put time and effort into it and get something out of it. Certainly not even remotely close to doing something more simple, more straightforward. Like, go fly around and pick up herbs and ore. You'll make significantly more gold than you will with the crafting system. Significantly more. Because you'll start making gold from the second you do it. And there is at least a bit of a journey for you making more gold as you put more time and effort in. That's just not true anymore with the crafting system. Because it's way too heavily optimized by those people who know what they're doing. And that's, unfortunately, just poor long-term game design. No quality on the public orders is huge. Well, public orders are just a complete scam these days. There's no way to distract the fact that public orders are a scam. The fact that people can put all high-quality materials in and a sizable tip and have no guarantee of what quality the item they're going to get back is borderline textbook definition of a scam. So much so that, yeah, I wouldn't recommend anybody try and get a piece of gear crafted via the public order system. You'll just get screwed over. Now I am kind of slightly regretting not, Oh, I've just realised there's a 7 silver difference in price between high quality and normal quality shards. 7 silver difference in price. No, sorry, 6 silver. Maybe points in maybe spending points in disenchanting isn't really of any value either. Problem with gathering, I find, is that early on it's just depressing. It's a element of perspective, I think, with gathering. I've always considered, and I know not everybody shares my opinion on this, but I've always considered as gathering to be something to do when you literally have no gold, right? It's the thing you should be doing when you really have no other options. You can't invest in the crafting system and buy a bunch of recipes and buy a bunch of profession gear and buy a bunch of knowledge points. You can't do all of this until you have some gold. So farming should always be something, like herbalism and mining should always be something that players do when they have 0 gold. Now, if you have 0 gold and you spend an hour farming and an hour later you have 20,000 gold, you're happy as pig in shit because you've all of a sudden made 20,000 gold you didn't have before. And that's massively increased the total amount of gold that you have. But if you're sat on millions of gold and you look at adding, if you've got a big pile here and you drop 3 grains of sand on the top of it, it's just not very interesting, is it? That's why I've always considered farming to be a bit of a means to an end. You should do it while it is valuable to you to do, because it increases your ability to do other things. But there is definitely a point where, yeah, flying around for an hour picking up herbs and ore to make 15 to 20,000 gold does get really depressing when it's a drop in the ocean of gold you already have. And you start, you know, that's when people start questioning, well, how could I have spent that hour actually enjoying something, you know? I'm going to run out of these flipping things to disenchant, and we've only got 40 of our catch-up points. It looks like there's only about a 1 in 3 chance to get a catch-up point from a rare item. I crafted, I think, 150 of these. And I've burnt through all of them. Maybe we just take the 42 catch-up points and call it a day. These can go into the next batch. Wowhead post titles very depressing and scares me. Only minimal reductions at Blizzard Entertainment after Xbox layoffs. But now, oh well. Wowhead are clickbaiting themselves into oblivion, aren't they? Wowhead need to focus on what they're good at, which is providing a long tail database of information on every single item in the game. All their clickbait article rubbish needs to back it in. It's shocking to me, though, that we are at, in fairness, the tail end of Season 1. But very commonly am I seeing the advice now being, if you want to make gold, just go do world quests. And I'm like, oh my days, are we at this point already? Are we at this point already? There is nothing special for people to shout about. A thing that you can do to go and make some coin in this game. I know I haven't done the greatest example of showcasing it, but I still can't get over the fact that I am convinced Decor is the play. The only issue is there's no denying the fact that Decor doesn't come without effort. And that's going to be its natural Achilles heel, I think. That people will almost instantly dismiss it based upon the fact that it's got quite a ramp up before it becomes, like, lucrative. Where people are looking for a mission table style, oh, I've already got this character and they can do something for 4 minutes and then log them off kind of way. Did you see the reduction in reagent cost for Midnight's decor, especially lumber quality? It was mentioned earlier. I've not looked at it in detail. It's a bit of a bummer for those people who have already got a bunch of pre-crafted stuff. As the likelihood is that the floor price of that decor will go down, but I'm not convinced it's going to be enough of... I don't think it will be a reduction enough to really attract many more people to the market. Like I said, I think the element of effort that's required in farming the lumber full stop is a pretty big barrier for anybody really getting into it. But I've seen a few people who have gone at it with a bit of effort, and they've already made out like bandits. So even though I've not showcased it too well myself, because my only farming of lumber's happening on my NA account, not my EU account, the profits are definitely there if you do it properly. This is kind of my concern, though, that if they are making a change, they think it's a problem. Well, yeah, you don't change stuff for no reason, so they must have a reason to be changing it. I wonder if yeah, I wonder if they just they see how little people are farming the lumber, crafting the decor. You know, I wonder if it is purely based on some engagement metrics. I mean, I'm kind of astounded just how much content there is out there for the professions and goal making and stuff. And I see almost none of it being focused towards decor. None whatsoever. And it's Blizzard's baby, isn't it? It's their new precious their new precious adventure that they want to make sure that they will. Blizzard has this ability to make sure that they will absolutely make something a success. There is no room at Blizzard Entertainment for a new system to fall on its face. And they might just very simply have considered the engagement of the crafted decor to be too low, and therefore have decided that the quickest and easiest way is to just make it all cheaper. Whether that will work or not, it does seem like a bit of a rookie way of fixing a problem if that is the case, but I'm in a weird spot now. I've done all that catch up for enchanting and I've suddenly realised I've filmed my enchanting tree. This means I can technically make every single enchant in the game now at maximum quality without concentration. I didn't realise we were quite at that point. Now, I could and I should probably make sure I go and get all the recipes. Quite many of these. You look on the auction house. Are there any cheap enchanting recipes I've missed? Or they just don't care about the crafted decor when they could sell it on the shop. If they didn't care about it, though, they wouldn't be making changes to it. Jarges kind of makes a good point that if they're making a change, they think it's because there's a problem. They must think it's too expensive or too restrictive to make for people to be making much of it. Oh shit, there's loads of cheap enchants I'm missing. I'm not going to waste my time figuring out where these come from when these are so cheap. I'm not going to figure out where these come from when these are so cheap. Let's just grab up all of these. 10k is right on the upper limits of what I'm willing to pay for a recipe, but... Oh, that was literally the only one on the auction house as well. Holy shit. Not even pressing the button on my enchanters at the moment. Profit margins is crazy slim. There's a strong possibility that with the spec reset, I might... I mean... yeah. I might start collecting as much of the decor recipes as I can for midnight. Knowing that there's roughly three more decor recipes for each of the professions coming next patch as well. Means there will be a lot more choice and a lot more options. Looks like they straight up decreased lumber costs for 50% for only the midnight decor. Yeah, they clearly want more of it being crafted. And more of it being sold and more people using it. The biggest issue with... I think the reason why a lot of people didn't focus on decor at the beginning from the professions was not limited by lumber, I don't think. I think it was more limited by just how ridiculously expensive everything else was at the very beginning. Now, it's not the case now. Everything's, like, bottomed out in terms of prices, but some of the decor recipes were, like, ludicrously expensive. You know, when all of the materials were also crazy expensive. I mean, these are not too bad now, but think about how much all of this was at the beginning of the expansion. Yeah, these ones are not too bad. Typical fashion, I can't find a good example here, but... yeah, I mean, 3,500 gold, even with the prices of shards being basically free and whatever. Like 5 dawn crystals to make a single piece of decor. Like it did feel like there was a bit of an imbalance with the material costs for decor on midnight stuff. I don't think lumber was really the problem, honestly. You've got a best in slot. Let's think about this for a second. You've got like a best in slot enchant for a weapon that uses maybe 2 dawn crystals, right? Absolute best in slot player power enchant. The thing that people all, like everybody is going to chase after. There's going to be huge demand for. best in slot, in chance, mostly using 2 Dawn Crystals. Then you get a random ass piece of decor hammer that costs 5 Dawn Crystals. Like, hello? You've got player power, cheap, cosmetic decor, almost 3 times the price. It just, what? Like, the link there doesn't make sense. I don't think it's the lumber that's significantly the problem with a lot of this. I think they're just flat out crafting cost. Lumber should be the bottleneck, not the rest of the materials. Because think about how much every other piece of decor costs. 25, 75, 150 gold. Anything that you can buy off a vendor, really cheap. Really cheap. Who's going to use an animated Sindorai pick, which has 3,500 gold of cost to craft it, over 150 gold, something equivalent? The balance isn't there. It's kind of crazy. The cost of producing it should be in the lumber, not in the materials, which they got right with all of the old expansion stuff. There's a few exceptions. There's like a stupid jewel crafting fountain that costs 20k, but there's like some exceptions to the rule, but mostly the value of the item is bundled into the effort it takes to get the lumber. About 80-20 ratio. If you go back to any of the past expansion stuff, decor, pretty exclusively, like I said, there are some odd ones. There are some weird odd ones that use massive materials, but for the most part, the actual material cost for all of the old stuff is really cheap. It's the effort of getting the lumber that means it has some value to craft and sell. But they kind of got that the wrong way round for Midnight, and now they're trying to fix it by taking the lumber prices down. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's like they're trying to screw in a screw with a hammer sometimes. They're like they're putting effort into fixing something, but they're going about it in a way that doesn't make sense. I'm definitely feeling a lot more short-termism this expansion. First time I've ever straight up thought about just cancelling my sub and taking a break. Lots of people have. Even I took a 2-week break from playing the game. Now I know that's not really a break, but crafting cost should be higher, lumber, and less of the other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a few oddballs out there, but, you know, the oddballs don't make the rule. Like, if you look at the actual crafting cost of pretty much any past expansion piece of decor, nothing really is costing much more than a couple of 100 gold in basic materials. But the value in the item is entirely determined by just how much lumber, how much effort it takes for somebody to go and get that lumber. That's why decor is profitable. Because what you're paying for when you buy a piece of decor off somebody else is you're paying for the time and effort it took them to go and get 15 pieces of lumber for a single Suramar fence, for example. That's like player-to-player value trade. It means the crafting cost of all of this stuff, like a Suramar fence, realistically, the demon steel bars and the ley light shards are like pennies, you know. This could go down as low as 150 gold and technically be profitable, but the value obtained by going and getting the lumber would be so poor that nobody would do it. So this you know, the value of decor is very synergistically linked to how much people value their time. It's kind of why I like the decor market, because it provides you the opportunity to say, right, my time is worth this. This is what I want for my time. The rest of it is just like busy work. It's fine. Critically, this also does only work as fluidly as I think it does because the lumber is soulbound and can't be traded, or warbound and can't be traded. If they made lumber tradable, they would like literally screw the pooch. I think. So I like the fact that there's no trading of the lumber directly. So in a way, I don't really see why reducing the lumber values of the midnight stuff is the play. I think they should be reducing the rest of the materials. But have we got a side-by-side comparison of what it looks like when it changes and what it is currently? Is it literally just a bit of a 50% across the board reduction? Let me see if I can do a bit of a side-by-side. Do we know of an item that's definitely changing that I can just quickly and easily search for? Let's... If it's pretty unanimous across the board, let's just pick something from a profession I've got open. Gilded Silver Moon Hanger. Eight, 12, 3, and 3. Gone. Back. Yeah. 8, 12, 3, and 3. 18, 12, 3, and 3. So yeah, they've just taken a big chunk of the lumber away. I think they're doing this backwards, you know. Because the problem inherently is the fact that this still costs nearly 1,000 gold to craft, when this should really only cost 150 gold to craft. If you make this like, they should take these numbers, they should halve these numbers. One alloy, 5 copper. 5 copper, 1 gloaming, 1 sterling would be, you know, bring the price of the base materials down enough to make the value of the item inherently based upon the lumber, the same as all of the other decor. Reducing the lumber's the wrong way to do it, because it's not actually going to really, it won't move the needle. It won't move the needle because you've already got so much of the value of the item tied up in the materials. This won't have the effect that Blizzard thinks it will. Reducing this isn't going to incentivize more people to go out and craft them and sell them. And in fact, that if they try to bring the price of the thing down overall on the auction house, that actually only has a negative effect on the amount of people that might go out and try and craft them and sell them. This isn't going to do what Blizzard thinks it'll do. They also removed some majestic hides from the leatherworking recipes. Well, that's not surprising because they're super expensive as well. But that is a that is a smarter play, for sure. Hang on, let's go profession, blacksmithing, expansion. Is that an option? crafted. Oh, okay, that's not so much an option. Has anybody checked if they're making any changes to any others, or if it is just the midnight stuff? Yeah, it's not easy to navigate on Wowhead. Removing the majestic hides makes sense though. Too goddamn expensive. But yeah, reducing the quantity of lumber doesn't seem like the right way to do it, in my opinion. Because I don't think that the reality is for most people is that most people have absolutely zero idea what the lumber is worth in the first place. Removing the, like I said, reducing the amount of lumber something takes isn't going to move the needle in any way, shape or form. People will still look at it and go, well, I don't know what the lumber's worth anyway. I only know what the value of everything else is. And it will still be the same if they don't change these. Yeah. Xbox announces restructure 1,600 role eliminations. Is that what we're calling them? Role eliminations. It's making it sound like some fucking... some reality TV program. You have been eliminated. No, you have lost your job and no longer have the ability to put food on your table. It's not an elimination. Okay, now. Minimal reductions at Blizzard Entertainment after Xbox layoffs for now. I don't even want to click the clickbait. Interesting. Interesting. Put Pepe in your player home in patch 12.1. Players can now bring their best bird friend home with the new mechanically indistinguishable Pepe decor. Okay, sure. Well. I'll catch up with all of this. But boys and girls, for today, I think I'm going to leave it there, to be honest. I'm kind of dawdling, messing around in game, not doing anything particularly constructive as it is. I think with that in mind, I could be better utilising my time doing something more constructive. I'm going to call it there for today. I thank you for joining. We'll be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow's reset day, so there's always something interesting to poke around with on reset day. Although we are kind of, it's probably worth putting a bit more time and effort into the PTR and building something for the... making sure that we have a good understanding of 12.1 at this point. So there's a possibility I might just spend tomorrow on the PTR having a bit more of a poke around. There seems to be subtle changes each build now that are worth keeping our eyes on. Or I might actually have a bit of a poke around in a bit more detail with the... where's it gone? With TSM's new pricing data changes. I might have a bit of a play with this. We might have a Google spreadsheet stream. Yo, we're leveling up the entertainment. Google spreadsheet stream. Holy. I might put this to the test a little bit. Might build out something for decor or something. You know, it's topical. Anyway. We'll save that for next time. Thank you for joining. I appreciate the follows, the bits, the subs. If you sat through an ad today, greatly appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Thank you for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, I'll catch you next time. Have a good one. Peace.